Hey guys, and welcome to the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. I'm Alex Whiteley, and today we've got another brilliant episode for you with Ease the Artist, a good friend of the show. He came on the show just after the pandemic. We did it when everything was all virtual and we're doing things on the computers and stuff. It was nice to do this one in person. I want to say thank you to the guys at Albert Shed, Jimmy and David Gregg, for very quickly. This was a spare of the minute thing. I knew I was speaking to Ease, but I was like, wouldn't it be cool if we could use a good music venue to do this in? So spare of the minute, I threw out a message, and you guys responded very quickly, and we did it at the amazing Albert Shed in Shrewsbury. So that's a great music artist in a great music location. Couple of things I need to get out of the way before we get into the podcast. One is this thing I've been trying to do throughout the season. I'm trying to help out the guys from TWS Podcast. They're doing Column Cricket Club All-Stars XI one-off match at Column Cricket Club on Sunday 21st of July. I've been trying to shoehorn the promo for this. Okay, so I'm a huge fan of Rick Glassman. His Take Off Your Shoes podcast is wonderful. If you get a chance, if you like funny, out there, sort of, it's witty. I love it. Right. Anyway, so he does this bit, and it's a comedy bit where he just interrupts people, or he'll click, and an advert will come straight in the middle of a sentence or a conversation. I think it's really funny. I always laugh at it, and I try to incorporate that into the podcast. But the thing is, this isn't a comedy podcast, so it fits no. So I was trying to shoehorn it into conversations where it had no right being. And people just look at me funny, like, what are you doing? It doesn't make sense. So I'm going to do it now. Ladies and gentlemen, on Sunday, the 21st of July, 2024, Column Cricket Club are holding a magnificent one-off sports spectacle that you're not going to miss. It is at Column Cricket Club, and the event starts at 12 p.m. On that 21st. Tickets are £10 for adults, £5 for under 18s, and under 3s are free. You get free entry. There's going to be kids entertainment, live music, meet and greets with some amazing sports stars that we're going to speak to Adam Rees very soon in the podcast. So keep your ears open for that. He'll tell you all about it. There's going to be a raffle, food, live podcasts from yours truly. I'm taking my studio. We're going to have a great time with that. And there's going to be a fire service demo. There's a bar. There's activity stalls. There's so much. And they're raising money for Little Rascals and the Whistle Foundation. And you know what? If you want to book a ticket, go to the Column Cricket Club Facebook page, try and book a ticket, and use the code BISCUIT20, and you'll get 20% off your tickets. So it'll be a great day in the sun, bit of cricket, a few drinks flowing, kids out there playing. It's going to be amazing, and there's going to be amazing sports stars. If you don't know about TWS podcast and what Adam has been building over the last couple of years, we got in a couple of episodes' time, you're going to learn all about it, and you'll know the kind of pull power he's got when it comes to sports stars. So you're not going to want to miss this. So it's going to be a fantastic event. So that is Sunday, the 21st of July, 2024, Column Cricket Club All-Stars versus the All-Stars XI. Right, let's get on with this episode then, shall we? This is the best hip-hop artist in Shropshire. He's won an award to say so. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you, Ease the Artist. Let's go. Over there as well. Hey guys, welcome to the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. We're coming to you today from Albert Shed in Shrewsbury. Thank you, David Gregg and Jimmy Kebab, for sorting this out. It's weird. I've never recorded here. I've done Frankville a couple of times actually, from the Loop Fest episode you heard last week actually, but never actually in the main Albert Shed. So this is cool. And today, I thought it'd be great to go to a great music venue to speak to a great music guest.
Oh, look at that. What a segue. What an introduction.
I know, I'm good at this. Easy artist, Matt Doyle. How are you, man?
I'm very well, man. I'm very well. We've got a lovely view going on here as well, haven't we? No, for the sake of the podcast, it's not going to be fantastic for anybody else to know, but for us, great.
I mean, we got the battered ass Rowley's mansion, which the council can't afford to fix.
It's got a couple of panel problems there, hasn't it?
Yeah. But nonetheless, I love Shrewsbury. Not being from this town, moving to a place and then falling in love with it. It's kind of a special feeling, really, because I don't know what it is. I don't know if people realise when they're born in a place and they're just so disappointed that they're from there.
I don't know. I have to go to Aldershot for business quite a bit, and every time I go to Aldershot and I get to come back here, I'm like, Shrewsbury's really, really nice. Really nice.
Well, what I mean is, I grew up in places like Telford and Wrexham, and I'm not saying that they're terrible places because they're not. In fact, I've been championing a lot of what Telford's been doing recently because I think they've been doing some really positive stuff with music development and creativity. But like when I lived there, I was kind of like, But moving here, I was like, oh my God. Look at that metal bridge, Greyfriars. Look at it. It goes over the river and everything. Mad.
No, it's genuinely beautiful, and we take it for granted. Loads of us take it for granted. The Salopians take it for granted. Definitely.
Yeah. Well, it's weird because, we spoke to the hundreds of guests that have been on here, and I hear so many people that have moved away and then come back because they fell in love with the Shire. And in fact, I forgot their names, but it's actually here because I just edited it yesterday. Laura and Ryan, who I interviewed at the tail end of Volume 1 of Loop Fest, they'd come in from Nottingham and Manchester to the Shire for a quiet weekend because the city's loud and stuff.
Oh, right.
And they just happened to come on the weekend that Loop Fest was happening. And I love the idea that people come from the city to literally the Shire.
They picked a good time to come, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Real good time.
Yeah. We spoke last time during COVID, or the tail end of COVID, I think it was.
It was.
And we were talking about how making music creatively whilst not being out and about. How's things been since then?
So when did we talk? Like 2018?
No.
2019?
I think it's 2021.
Was it? Was that how long COVID was?
Yeah.
It wasn't that long ago.
It was 2020, 2021. Yeah.
Locked in some blur of COVID, I think.
I was saying to my wife, I was like, we didn't have the true COVID experience. And what that meant was I worked all the way through it.
Yeah, and I did.
I got applauded and stuff, walking to the front of queues and stuff because of a lanyard and I was an essential worker, I got that, but I didn't get to stay at home for weeks and weeks on end.
I clapped for you on a Thursday then, did I? Is that what
I wasn't NHS, so that's the thing. They just assumed there was. And I was just like, I'll take it. You got to applaud for me. I'm not going to be like, no.
No, let me queue with everybody else.
But yeah, it was about 2021. I think we caught the arse end of 2020.
Well, I think when we spoke then, must have just been really getting back into the swing of things. I think I'd just created the album that I put out with Jamie. It's changed a fair bit since then. Worked with a lot more different people, label involvements, all of those things that come with it. So
yeah.
So it's been different. It's been different, and I think the whole creating process is different now. We're outside of that sort of, I think I did music at that point to stop myself going insane. Yeah. Because there was just nothing to do, and it was like, let me go back to this again. And then I realised just how much I enjoyed it and loved it, and here we are.
What's better for you? Have you experienced, because you say you made an album, and I know you release 4 or 5 tracks a year, something like that, you have been steadily. What is better for you as a person who likes to create things, making an album all in one go, bam, 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 we got to get an album out deadline, or making the odd track every now and again? Because you put as much love into each track, it's just you condense it all when you do an album.
Yeah, I'd never make another album unless I was paid handsomely to do so. I've got a couple of EPs coming, in the future months, but that whole process of making an album is not as fun as I thought it was going to be. It was definitely more. It wasn't time sensitive because I could do what I wanted and I could put it out when I wanted to, but I gave myself my own deadline. But it almost just became a little bit too rushed for me. I've took that album down now off Spotify. It's not
really.
I stripped it out. It's because it was.
Shows I haven't been listening to you last album. I was listening to your new stuff though, and we'll come on to that in a sec.
I don't know. It was at a period of time. It was knocking the cobwebs off. It was something that I always said that I wanted to do, and I was going to just do the album and call it done, and not get back into the swing of things. But then that whole process reignited the flame, so to speak. And then as I've listened back to that project now, after the new stuff and the people that I'm working with now, it just didn't feel good enough to be on there. That's interesting to hear about, because I am critical of myself.
definitely really. I mean, like sometimes when I'm doing my intros and stuff for my podcasts, a bit of insight behind the scenes stuff. I record like 3 or 4 times because like that's stupid, that's terrible. There are podcasts that I've felt like deleting for good. There's definitely stuff I've removed because I'm like I don't want people to see me like that. I'm a professional and I can usually knock it out the park. Mm-hmm. But I'm always judging myself. And why do we do that? Because professionally, I guess you've got to look a certain way, but like for you put a lot of time and effort into that, you know?
Yeah, I think there's, I guess it's professional anxiety to a certain extent. And you always want to create the best product and give everybody the best version of yourself, right? So if you think that you've got something that's not necessarily the best version of yourself, I think it's the right thing to do to either edit it or take it down or however that looks and feels for you, you know? Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with being a perfectionist to a certain extent, and that's how I felt about it. You know, I don't have the ability to go back and edit tracks and those sorts of things, and, you know, like some people are able to do. That's not something that I've got. So for me, the best thing to do was go, okay, well, let's remove it and let's keep the stuff up there that we want to keep up there. And it's, you know, the stuff that's up there now on Spotify and Apple Music and all those things, it's on brand. You know, I didn't feel necessarily that the album was on brand.
Your new stuff is incredible, and we will come on to that in a sec because it really is phenomenal. But I want to talk about, we may have covered this in the last podcast, but if people listen to this, I'm saving them to go back to listen to a 4-year-old podcast. Where does it, like, music begin for you? When's the moment you realise, do you know what? This is for me. I want to make this stuff.
The very, very first time that I got into a position where I really wanted to make music, I was in Cyprus, and the real Slim Shady came on. The real Slim Shady came on.
Yeah.
And I don't think I must have been like 10 or 11 at that time, something along those lines. And I was like, wow. Like that was the moment where I thought I want to make music. Like I absolutely love this. I've always loved music though. Like my mum and dad have always had music on. They've always played music. Like I grew up with like the Beautiful South, Wet, Wet, Wet. The Commitments.
I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at you. Wet, wet, wet thing. I was in Chester the other day, and it was pouring down, and Wet, Wet, Wet was on. And I was saying to Kaz, my wife, I was like, "Who's this?" And she didn't know because she's useless with movies and music. And I was like, "It's Today," and she went, "Wet," and I went, she went, "Wet," and I was like, she went, "Wet," and I was like, "There you go, you got it." So yeah, Wet, Wet, Wet,
and then soul music, Motown as well. Like my nan, huge Al Green fan. So like, yeah, it was, and records always on, like always on, and I love it. That soul Motown thing for me, I feel like you can hear that in reflection in the later music, which is, you know, part of the other reason why the album, you know, pulled the album down was because that was the sort of thing for me. Like it didn't have enough soul in it. It didn't have enough depth. And that's where I take all of my musical influences. I don't really listen to rap. Like I just don't. I used to. And if I've got a gym playlist, it's going to have some rap on it. But typically I'm like R&B, soul, Motown. Like that's my go-to.
Hip-hop found its way creeping back into my life in, I gotta say, 2018. I don't know what it was. I kind of put it down for a little bit. It was always part of my life. But I found a lot of like Nas and Mos Def and the old 80 Aliens, Outcast stuff coming back into my life, you know. I feel like it's always been a part of me. I'm so glad that right now I'm full in it, and I've been listening to a lot of Mos Def lately. And that Black Star album was just
crazy.
It's crazy good. Like when you think about it, they took down Diddy like with like an independent label like that was just incredible. And I can hear a lot of those influences in Soul Searching, your new song.
Yeah.
That is for me. And I'm not saying this, but I think I messaged you right away, which is because we know each other.
Yep.
But for me to just message you out the random, just getting out the shower as well, I was like, I couldn't believe
it was
what
weird
I was hearing.
that was a FaceTime.
He was like, this is a weird angle for us. That song hit me. It hit me right.
I love that.
And it was like, that is for me one of the songs of the year. Out of everything I've listened to, genuinely, and I don't mean to make it awkward because I know some people are awkward with compliments, but I have listened to that song non-stop since I heard it.
Oh, I love that, mate. No, I love that.
It makes a lot of sense what you're saying about the depth and the soul and having that music in the background because you can hear it in it.
Yeah, I've got a lot sat like that. There's a lot sat like that. There's also, I fly out to Holland, not next week, the week after, for 4 days to make more music as well. And I'm linking up with a couple of producers out there. And there's a lot of that.
Good. You're always working. You're working all the time. I see your social media. You're always sat at a mixer, or you're looking at something.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be active. I think that you sharpen the tools when you're active, right? So that's all I'm trying to do. And I enjoy the process of creating music. I really enjoy the process of creating music. I don't like necessarily the end point and the outcome all of the time, but I love making music, and just try and keep.
It's got to be all the toys that we can play with now, as opposed to back then, way back in the 90s and noughties, where we had I don't know, we can record something by pressing the record button on the stereo, things like that. When's the first moment for you where you've rapped your own stuff and I'm good at this? Do you remember that?
Yeah, probably. There was a period of time where I wasn't good at it.
You gotta be terrible or something, I think.
I remember me and Jamie, probably at college, and Sting Star microphone into a laptop over some beats that he made that were terrible, and my rap was terrible over it as well, so it definitely wasn't then. Do you know what? Probably after a couple of years, and I'd really started to sit down and go, okay, hold on a minute here. That was probably when I had the realization where I thought, do you know what? I'm all right at this. But I think the style has changed a lot since then, and I think now is where I feel like I'm almost at my prime. Probably at my prime right now. So hopefully it doesn't slip off.
No, that's fine. And, listening to a lot of your newer stuff, it feels like you're screaming and shouting at people. You are, in a really good way. You're trying to prove a point in a good way. You are standing your grounds, and I like that.
I think that when you start to get label involvement and you start to get that level of probably trust in your ability and people wanting to push you because they see that there's a monetary gain for them in it, that probably spurs me on again because it gives you that confidence.
Yeah. And the one song is Glory, right?
Yeah, Glory.
It's like a walkout song for a boxing.
Yeah,
that's that vibe. It's like I could see Tyson Fury or someone walking out to that easy.
There's a few like that. I think it's interesting that we come on to that, because that's probably not really my favorite type of music, because there's a point behind creating it. So it is organic to a certain extent, but it's not fully organic. And when you are fabricating something for a purpose, that's where it becomes I don't know, I start to struggle with it a little bit. But I love the tracks and I love the outcome. Just the creation process wasn't as easy for that, because I feel like it's write a hype track that's about X, Y, and Z, so it has this end outcome, so it gets syncs on trailers and games and those sorts of things. We've been lucky enough to have a couple of them off the back of it, but it's not that sort of it doesn't give me that, let me get really intricate with this, and that's what I love. I like the intricacy, the playing around with lyrics, and the creation.
I love it when a rapper can sort of lean into. I think Method does that an awful lot. He can sort of just lean into a track, just go into it. And I get what you're feeling, because if you're walking into, I don't know if you play a lot of live music and stuff, but you walk into a set and you're like, 1, 2, 3, go! And you got to hype that song up straight away. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get it. And you have to. I feel like you have to believe in the product. You have to really, really, really believe in the product. And not that I don't believe in the product there, but it's not my favourite. So I feel like that comes across, But, it serves a purpose. But that's if I could have had a second alias, I probably would have gone for it under that alias, because it's not Easy Artist. It is, but it's not it's not here. It's not what I want.
Who is Easy Artist compared to Matt? What's the differences between you both of you? We're going into this, by the way, because I thought it was an interesting topic.
Do you know what? It's not like a flick a switch and I'm Easy Artist or anything along those lines. It's just a front. It's just a front because it allows me to get into that creation bag. So when I'm recording, I'm not the same person that I am at work. because I can't be, because it needs to be a different kind of person. And it's almost like mask on, mask off. But like, I'm not really leaning into it like I'm some different person. You know, it's not like Slim Shady to Eminem. Like, it's not that level to me. It's different. It's different.
I mean, there's lots of people that do that. I mean, we talk about having two different personas. ODB had two different personas because like Ason wasn't even his real name, so he's that. And then there's the ODB thing. So there's two different versions. And then Dirk McGurk as well. There's another one. David Bowie, in particular, he created music based on his feelings while he was in a certain persona. Childish Gambino is another one. Donald Glover, the squeaky clean actor. Childish Gambino is upsetting all the right people at the moment, which is amazing with his music, because he feels like he can go out and do that under that pseudonym. And me as well, I guess, the Biscuit guy, the guy that can go out and confidently speak on microphone. We were just talking about social anxiety before we hit record. And, I feel like this version of me is a completely different version to nervously walked into the bar and set up here. It's nice to have that to fall back on, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is nice. I also think that there's a certain amount of... You have to be a certain level of performer to get away with it, to have that sort of switch in personality as well. Like, everybody that you've just described there is really well known, and they can pull it off. And I think that's... I guess that's important as well from my perspective, which is why it's not a switch. It's not a switch from Ease the Artist to Matthew Doyle. It's the same person.
It's nice to, like I said, it's great to... Do you feel like you need to, when you're writing, do you write as Matthew Doyle or do you write as Ease the Artist? Or do you have to come at things as a perspective? I'm not putting a lot of emphasis on you being Ease the Artist as a completely different persona, because it might not be the case. But like, you're thinking, you're talking a lot about how a certain sound has got to be right. Is that an Easy Artist thing or a Matthew Doyle thing? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's probably an Easy Artist thing. I think when I make music, I probably have the most different from my normal self, because when I make music, I'm like, I'm the best at this. Like, I have that feeling. It's like when I'm in my zone and my bag, I don't think I can be touched, and that's an arrogance.
No, you need to have that.
Right?
You need to have that. I've taught myself you've got to be that arrogant sometimes.
But then in my normal day life, that is not how I feel.
Yeah,
it is not how I feel. But when I do this, it's like, no, I know I'm good at this. Like, I'm really good at this. And like, it's took a long time for me to get to that point as well, because I think arrogance is like an ugly thing, but I feel like I really need it in this.
Do you know what something happened to me recently? I was in the hospital doing my day job, right? And I'm in a room full of people. And if the lady listens to the show, thank you so much for recognising me and saying this. But as I was dealing with something in my job, she goes, and then can we listen to one of your podcasts across the waiting room? And I was just kind of like, oh, you know who I am? And she was like, yeah, I do. You're a Biscuit guy. And I was like, yeah, I'm just working. And I was kind of like, it's weird to step out of one into the other. And it's people probably listen to this, and you probably do it without even realising it every single day, that you are a nurse. And when you're in your nurse, you are the nurse. When you're at home, your mom. Everybody has those personas. I think sometimes you just got to lean into them, and you've got to learn that when you are the nurse, or when you're Easy Artist or the Biscuit guy, a bit of arrogance and confidence will actually set you off in a great direction.
Yeah, no, completely agree. You just can't do that in your normal day to day.
I am the Biscuit guy. Well, I don't walk into Albert's shed and be like, "Where's my beer?" Like, I did put a thing out. I put it up really early today, though, so I didn't really get much about. I asked people if you had a name for your creative alias or a pseudonym for yourself. Luke Allen, who's a great director friend of mine, he put, technically I do guess, Allen is my middle name. Neville Street mentioned about Stella 6. It's about a group of friends of them, 4 friends, and they created poetry, so much so that they wanted to create like pamphlets and stuff. So they wanted a name, so they opened a book, and bam, Stella was the thing. So it became Stella 1, Stella 2, Stella. So they said, like, when we create things growing up, we'll dedicate it to the Stella thing. So Stella 5, cool. Stella 6.
That's how that came from. And Pete Davis, he put it's the PXD. It's good to have something, like I said, to hide behind. By the way, somebody put something really horrible on there as well. It was somebody I knew from years ago. I just want to shout, like, he's not going to listen to this because he doesn't listen to my podcast. He only pops up to say negative stuff on my posts. And if somebody's doing that in your life, you can get rid of them, by the way. And he's not ever going to know about this because he doesn't listen. He doesn't support me. Listen to my podcast. So I removed the comment, removed him as a friend. I just don't feel like any of us got time for that kind of negativity. So I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, poor show. It's a poor show.
Yeah.
That was a great interview, Jeff. Now, finally, where can I find your website?
I don't have a website.
What?
I just never got around to making one.
You know what? I can't take you seriously with an attitude like that. I am extremely disappointed in you. To not have a website is irresponsible, lazy, you lack ambition. I mean, where's the vision?
Don't be like Jeff. Be responsible. Get out there and shine with a beautiful website by Web Orchard, where they will take care of all of your website needs. Go to theweborchard.com right now and get a beautiful website you deserve.
You know what? Get out.
Soul searching. Dude, where did that come from? Where did that come from? That is art. Can I put a snippet of it in this podcast? So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a little bit of soul searching.
Same surface, but the script be flipped now. I dip in my old 30s. And our body, this a different me, killing spree. Everything I breathe, beat the grease of bubble furnace. This ain't a space to burn it. You in my way, you fold. And take my place and ride my wave on the way to get my gold.
And now we're back. Where did that come from? Because it's amazing.
Yeah, no, it was that was the exact thing I was talking about when I said organic music, because I was in the studio with Rob in Holland. It was the last day, and he had like just a couple of little noises going on, and I was like, what's that? And he's like, yeah, hold on. And he put a drum beat behind it, and I just started writing, and I wrote that track in probably half an hour max.
That's mad.
And like it just kept growing. Like he kept creating it, and I just kept writing. And by the time he'd finished the beat, I'd finished writing, and I laid the verse. And then I hopped on a flight back to the UK. It was the last thing.
So you're writing the song whilst he's putting the track, beat on the track.
Yeah. And there's a lot of times where, like, so my creative process, I won't just be able to sit right now and just start writing because I need the beat, because I'll feed off how that's making me feel.
Yeah.
And I think you can hear it when you go, someone's written that, and then they've got a beat afterwards, and they've put the two together, and there's not a fantastic marriage on that. That for me is really important. So I can either go down the route of, I've got a tempo, I've got a feeling, we can go down that, and then you can continue to create, or I need the beat first, and then leave me with the instrumental, and I'll go off in a corner.
When the Jules do that perfectly. Na 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 na. You know, they will like cater the lyrics to the track.
Yeah.
Well, them two are great.
I think that's really important, and I think well, for me, I can hear it. When someone's not doing that, I can hear it. Like there's locally around here and those sorts of things, and even nationally, you can hear it.
Do you speak to a lot of other artists from different genres about how they write their music? Do you like take in a bit of that advice and information?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not, but that's probably my reclusive self coming out. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, obviously I've had conversation with musicians in the past, but it's never, my creation process has never really been something that I've either questioned or wondered if there's a different way of doing it, because it's like, that's the way I do it. That's the way I do it, and that's what works for me. And yeah, I've tried other ways of doing it, and it doesn't necessarily get me the same outcome.
Yeah, and to be fair, I can relate to that because I make the same podcast. The podcast the same way now as I used to way back then, and I feel like there's probably some AI tool I can just and it'll do it for me. But I know it's right if it's done that way.
Exactly, but you've still refined it from that first point as well. Like you've refined it and polished it to the point that it's at right now, and you'll continue to do that because you've got a winning formula, and you're just polishing that formula. And that's what I think is that's what I do with my music, and that's how I think that it's going to continue to get better, because I've got the exact same method. I'm not going to change it. I'm just going to keep adding to it and polishing it and making it a little bit better.
Well, that's Darwinism, isn't it? It's not about being strong. It's being adaptable to be able to evolve, and that's the most important thing. And you're showing that by cleaning the slate from a few years ago and starting from something new and fresh, that you're doing that. You're evolving and you're adapting.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if I get 3 years down the line from this point and some of the tracks that are on my Spotify right now are not there anymore because I've gone, this isn't good enough. Because
Don't you dare give it a soul search. I'll be texting
I'll send you the file. You can have the file.
But I'm finding that I'm doing a lot more of this now because of the biscuit, and because of Jimmy actually, and like Loopfest and Trademark Blood as well. A lot of these things I'm getting involved with a lot of local musicians that are now featured steadily into my playlist.
I think you got to do something with that, by the way.
Yeah.
I feel like that's something that you should definitely go down the route of looking at. Everybody in this local area, and even just not bigger acts inside of the UK, they need the platform, and they want the platform.
I think so. I spoke to, have you heard of the Scribes, the freestyle rappers?
Yeah.
I interviewed them at Loopfest, and I love meeting like hip hop stars and people that like are on the same level as me, because you feel like you can just talk about the same stuff that we grew up about, and we gelled so well. You know, I was talking about Harry Mack and the things I used to enjoy, I still enjoy, and you get a lot of repartee. Is it repartee? Is that the word? Rapport.
I like Harry Mack, but I don't know why. I just I don't like him to listen to. I can just go, that's incredibly impressive, but there's just something about it that just doesn't captivate me.
We went to watch him live. I've watched all of his YouTube videos, right? And I felt really bad because Volume 1 of Loopfest, I talk to the Scribes and I say, like, I went to watch him live. We were a little bit disappointed because we were kind of expecting what we saw on YouTube and we didn't get that. Obviously, we stood in a venue for a long time. It was very hot. The performance was great, but it wasn't like what... Anyway, and then I spoke to Beardy Man the next day, who performed with Harry Mack on stage. I was like, oh, Harry Mack's amazing. But like, I feel like when you look at someone on someone like YouTube or you listen to their music, you expect them to fly at that height when you see them, and when they don't, it's a massive disappointment. So to go and watch a YouTube star perform on stage wasn't like, I wouldn't recommend it. Like, it's just a weird experience. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's all to do with money, isn't it? And he's obviously been able to monetize that well through what he's doing, but you know, sometimes it's good to stick to what it is that you're really good at, right? And if you're really good at that and that's been successful for you, then to try and expand on it sometimes going to fall flat.
Speaking of monetizing, we were listening to music earlier today in the car, me and my wife, and she was like, who pays for all this? Does he get paid? What's the score there? How much are you putting into this personally? How much do you get back out of it? I don't want to be too personal, obviously.
Yeah. I am really lucky, I think. I'm really lucky. I've had some massive sync payments. Like, I'll tell you off, Mike, like it bit eye watering at times. And I've always had Jamie, who I work with, who has, you know, we've been signed together. We've been able to get advances, those sorts of things that come with it. That's meant that there's been very, very, very little come out of my own pocket for this. In fact, I would say that I'm in fairly significant profit. So, yeah, it's not a concern.
Living the dream.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, it is living the dream, but I think it's more by luck than judgment. It is more by luck than judgment. And there's been some people that I've come into contact with that have been just fantastic human beings, and they've put me in touch with some really, really good people, which has opened up some doors and some avenues that I wouldn't have dreamt of sort of 3 or 4 years ago. So, you know, from that point forward now, hopefully that continues to push on and snowball, hopefully.
Would you do like a tour? Would you go and perform?
I feel like I want to put some real time into the stage show and make sure that it's absolutely spot on before I do it. And at the moment, I feel like I want to create more music to get enough of a catalogue behind me that's sufficient to do that. Because it's always something that I want to do. And it's always something that I've wanted to do. And I've done performances here and there, but it's never been a big part of me. It's never been a massive, massive thing that I've done. And, we spoke a little bit off camera, and not so much about the social anxiety aspect of it, but more about the time to be able to create. And my day job is intense. I've got a family that I enjoy spending time with. And then I've got the creation of music, I've got the recording of music, and my input at the back end of the music side of things as well. It's just a lot, and I try and do, cover arts and those sorts of things myself as well. So yeah, it's just a lot.
Did you do the guy with the hood?
Yeah. There was some AI involvement in some of that as well. But yeah. We always fine tune and tweak a lot of it.
I love that, by the way. That was such a great hook.
Thanks, man.
I love that. And I think a hook has got to be fire, because if you try and create a hook that just doesn't land, in your head you think it's great, but then other people listen to it. I don't know.
You got to get it. It's got to be catchy. And the hooks, I find the hooks the hardest thing to write, man.
Really?
Yeah, verses are easy. I'll give you 16 bars and make it intricate and different meanings and flow patterns, cadences, all those things quite easily. But then when you go, I got to get the thing that sticks in people's heads. And I use my missus as my soundboard as well, because she's brutal.
Yeah?
Brutal. And I'll be like, what do you think of this? And I'll play her a little snippet of it, and she'll be like, that's not very good. And then my next track that's coming out, she's like, the hook on that is the thing that it's catchy. She's like, I've had it in my head. And I'm like, okay, that's good.
A good hook can sell anything, honestly.
100%. Mate, as much as I love lyrics, I know that the level that I'm at, people aren't going, I'm going to memorize everything word for word that he's saying, but that hook's got to be something that goes, it sticks in your head and you go, yeah, it's stuck in my head. Who was that? It's Aziz, wasn't it? Yeah. That's what you need.
The Logical Song by Scooter, you can within the hook of that, you can tell what it is within half a second of playing it. Do you know what I mean? That's a great example of when it can work, when is the best time for you to write and create? When you're feeling happy or when you're pissed off?
Depends what I'm trying to write. When I'm trying to write the ego rap stuff and tell everyone how much I am better than them, that's probably in that sort of mid-ground.
Yeah.
There's been some great times where I've been going through some things personally where you just go right and you're really annoyed, and you get that sort of beat that comes on you, you just go to town on it, and it's almost like that sort of flush of emotion, and that comes out on it. And then the happy stuff as well, I guess I've got a few happy songs here and there, probably some more playful than anything when I'm in a happy mood. It's not necessarily like I'm trying to be a comedian, I'm just probably playful.
Do you think anything good comes out of guys that are content?
No. I think you've got to have a certain amount of... what's the word I'm looking for? Carnage? You've got to have a certain amount
fire.
You've got to have a certain amount of problem going on, because the second that everything is rosy, what have you got to talk about? And that's one of the things that I've always tried to do with my music, is just be authentic. So there's no... I am this person that I'm not. I always try and be authentic, and you need some emotion to be able to do that, else it gets dried up and boring pretty quick.
I think you got to be authentic, because you get found out so quickly.
You definitely do.
If you try to be something you're not. And what I loved about you as well, and what I've been talking about with, I think Michaela may have mentioned it as well, actually, when we did our podcast, is that your ability to work with others that aren't around you. I mean, I talk about breaking free out of Shropshire, and I mean, at this point, I don't think you need to break free out of Shropshire. I think my thoughts have completely changed on that. I feel like Shropshire's a great place to be at the moment, musically. But you literally break free out of Shropshire because you're working with people in America, you're working with people in Holland, people are local as well.
Yeah.
I mean, how long does it take to make connections like that for you?
I actually made some connections through just random people that I've encountered at times that have put me in touch with other people, and that's just been the way that it's happened. Really, I've said when I started making music again, what I really, really wanted to do was just be easy to work with, genuinely be very, very easy to work with, and not really say no too much unless I really had a bad feeling about something. And just when I say I'm going to do something, I do it, and not let people down. And I think that in this age now that you're dealing with, there's a lot of people that will say that they're going to do something and then don't do it, and that can cause issues with whoever it is that's trying to put that thing together or put that thing on. I've always said that I will just be honest. If I'm not going to do something, I'm not going to do it, and just be as easy as I physically can to work with. So I think that's the thing that's helped me get those connections and keep those connections.
Yeah, I've been one to be like, yeah, next year we can do the thing and we can make it big and elaborate, and then I forget about it. I do it all the time. But at the same time, I'm quite reliable with, and I've worked with same people for years. There are people that I've met along the way with the biscuit they're almost like family.
Yeah.
And it's great to be a part of that collaboration. I think is so important, especially when it comes to creativity. It's almost like a trade, isn't it?
If you if you just think about the conversation that we had before about the way that I create things, that in itself lends to be able to do it with anybody, because I'm either saying to you, we can create it together so I can come to your place and create, or you can send me something that you've created and I will do what I want to do on it, record the vocals and send it you back. So that in itself makes it so easy, in my opinion. I could work with someone from Australia. It wouldn't matter. The only thing that would be the issue, there's the time difference. That's it.
Yeah. And I feel like it's a weird thing to say, but I think the pandemic sort of helped an awful lot with that, with the technology, like StreamYard and Zoom and things like that really helped us. Like absolutely played clutch with the content we were putting out then. And I know, like, with people like yourselves, Mike Shinoda was sitting there online. I was doing live podcasts, making music with strangers from around the world, and he made some absolute bangers. That was another highlight from the pandemic for me. Is Mike Shinoda, of all people, just come out of nowhere and start making great songs, just to go show people what he can do. When it comes to performing live things like this, how much of that have you done recently? Is it something that you said you want to work on it?
Not enough.
Not enough.
Not enough. And I say not enough. I probably have done enough of it because I haven't needed it. I don't need it to be able to create the brand that I have at the moment, but to enhance it, I do. And I have that desire and want to do it. I really do. Like, I want to be able to go out in front of a lot of people and perform. The problem being is the time involved. It's the time involved. And I talked about being a perfectionist. Like, that's my issue. I can't half-arse it. It can't be, it can't feel slapdash. It's got to be polished and refined, and that's my problem.
I can imagine. Have you seen the movie Whiplash? That's not to my tempo. If you've seen that movie now, you're probably howling. It's not to my tempo. Not quite to my. Go and watch Whiplash tonight. Don't let the little kid watch it. But it's a bit intense when it comes to perfectionism. I totally get you with that. That'll come though. It'll come in its time, and you don't need to do that with what you're doing, because you're creating a brand sat in your studio.
I think the problem that I've got at the moment for me is that this is gonna. I just don't want to come off sounding like a. This is gonna. I've got a lot of people that want a lot from me at the moment, and it's more important for me at the moment to do what it is that they need from me, because my time is not infinite when it comes to this. So I'm almost like, right, I've got to go and do that first. That's got to be the thing that gets done. And once that's out of the way, then maybe we can start to go into a different position. But as it stands at the moment, fortunately for me, not unfortunately, I have a lot of people that want to work with me, and it's good people as well.
That's great. I love that. I mean, I struggle. I like it when there's lots coming my way, but then in my weird head, I kind of panic a little bit. Oh my God, there's no internet. I need to go and get the Wi-Fi password so we can play. I wanted to do all spontaneous and stuff. Right.
So the first thing I've got to tell you is I'm immensely competitive. So if this is something...
Oh, no, it's nothing like that, trust me.
Okay.
Right. I'm going to go and ask for the Wi-Fi. Give me a second. Right, so I had no Wi-Fi. The battery died. But we're going to try this again because it's time for...
Wait, it's random, innit?
Oh, yeah. It's time for the Random Minute, which is a minute of random questions. So I was using the website teambuilding.com, but I got bored with their questions. Everyone's been answering the same questions. It's a random question generator.
Oh, God. Okay.
So for a minute, and I'll time it, I'm going to ask you, I've got to answer as many as you can.
Quick fire.
Quick fire.
Yeah.
Forgot to mention, like, Michaela, answered the one question for a whole minute, and I was like,
This isn't the point of this.
bless her. I will start the stopwatch as soon as you start talking. Okay. So the first question is, what professions are overpaid and underpaid?
Nurses and doctors underpaid, overpaid, bankers.
Nice. What did you buy yesterday? It's a random one.
Strawberries.
Strawberries. Cool. What conspiracy theories do you believe could be true?
Oh, mate. This is the minute question for me. Probably something about Twin Towers.
If you were elected leader of your country, what law would you change first? Now, this is a dangerous question.
I'll probably legalise cannabis.
Cool. What do you think future generations will think about how we treated the environment today?
They're probably going to not be very happy with us.
What's the scariest movie you've seen?
I hate horror movies. I am such a sap when it comes to that, dude.
Really?
Yeah.
So all of them.
Yeah.
Should soft drugs such as cannabis be legalized?
Yeah, I think so.
If you had a time machine, which period would you visit?
1960s.
1960s. There we go. That was the.
Why, it's random, innit?
It's a fun little thing we do. It's just a great way to put people on their toes and to find out when they get the game to work. When we're not running around looking for batteries and stuff. Wonderful. What are you working on at the moment, Matt? Have you got something? Are you taking a break? Because I know you've been working steadily.
No, I've got so much on. I have more music sat at the moment than I have ever had sat in my whole time making music, and it not just a little bit more as well, like triple the amount I've ever had sat. And then as I go over to Holland in 2 weeks' time, I'll probably end up making 5 or 6 tracks whilst I'm there. And then there's also hopefully another EP off the back of that, if we get the go ahead from the label, that I'll need to do that I've half written. So I've probably got about 12 or 13 tracks sat right now this second.
Amazing. Anything that you can showcase around different places when you release a song? Is it good to go to other hip hop events and speak to other creators?
I don't know. I'm really probably trying to push social media without even remotely being on social media. So I've really used that as my tool, and with the label back in and it being in LA as well, that helps, right? Because they have that platform that they provide the artist with. So yeah, probably not trying to go around and show it too much.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Interesting. Are there any local artists that you really look up to? Anyone that you work with or would like to work with, or you just admire in general?
Yeah, I don't know whether I say that I look up to him, but I definitely admire Trademark. I like what Trademark does. I think that he's very good. I'm glad
you brought him up because it's starting to look like I've got a bit of a crush on the guy, but I think he's great what he does.
No, I like him. I like him a lot.
He's a good guy as well, and the stuff that he's doing at the moment with local musicians is key. I don't know why that's been missing in Shropshire.
He's been a champion of it for a long time. I'm too selfish to do it. That's the truth of the matter. Is it's just not something that I have the bandwidth to do. But he's been on it for so long doing it, and I think that it's really started to become more and more prevalent now, especially when you add in things like the Shropshire Music Awards and stuff like that as well, which is was a big success.
A weird shout out to make, but my friend in New Hampshire in America, Matt Connaughton, this radio show, they do a lot with local musicians, and seems to be a lot of local radio in America where they can do that. They can bring on local bands. I think we absolutely dying for that in Shrewsbury right now. Yeah. And I know we've got a couple of radio stations, we've got In-Tune Radio and Shropshire Live, but I feel like a live lounge somewhere where local acts can just go and play their stuff. I
think that would be really good. I think it would be really good. I feel like BBC Radio Shropshire has missed a trick. That's how I feel about the whole situation that's occurred there, really, to be honest. I feel like they missed a trick. And that opportunity for certain artists to be played now on the radio and have that sort of confidence building behind them has gone to a certain extent. I'm lucky that I'm in one of those people that when I send the music through, it typically gets played. But there is artists that are just trying to create and start, And that's a fantastic confidence boost to get something like that. And when you have somebody like Michaela or Simon, those sorts of people that champion you to start with, it really gives you that little battery in your back. And to have that sort of dwindled down now and combined into 3 different places, I think is sad. I think it's sad for local music. And that's why I think that there's an opportunity there to do something exactly what you've just said.
The Salopia mixtape being part of Shropshire Live, by the way, I completely forgot, which is absolutely fantastic at what that does. And I feel like if anything, they could invest in that as like something that could blossom into creating something special, like a space for local musicians.
Yeah, I feel like for what Simon and Michaela did, like they're deserving of the Salopia mixtape to really, really do well.
Yeah.
And I will forever champion that. Forever champion.
Absolutely. And they got my support. I did put a thing on Facebook recently saying, I'd love to do something with you. I've always wanted to do, I remember at Loop Fest last year going, oh, yeah, I'd love to do like a Zane Lowe style podcast where I'm just sit with a band for like an hour and a half, you know, that maybe live play some music, fade into a bit more of interview back into. Always wanted to do that. And I mentioned on Facebook saying, oh, this is what I want to do. And I remembered I didn't want to sound like I was like encroaching on what they do as a thing, because I think what they do is phenomenal, and you know, I'll always champion them, like you said.
I don't feel like they would think like that either, though, dude, to be honest. I think that they are supporters of local music, and if more people are supporting local music, you know, the better, really, to be honest. And I think that's how they see it.
I was thinking of a thing in the car. I didn't write it down, and I'm glad I remembered it. When you're talking about the hip hop musicians in general, no, we'll do it 2 ways. One is somebody wants to get into the world of hip hop. What are the do's and don'ts of a rising star? Do you think?
I'm still trying to get into the world of hip hop myself, but I think you just have to make sure that what you're putting together is quality, and it's quality over quantity, and you know. Yeah, okay, you can put quantity out there, but to get people really believing in you, you might have, you know, people that champion you to your face, but getting people that really believe in you behind your back, so to speak, you need quality. You really do have to be particular with what it is that you're putting out, and if something isn't quite right, don't put it out. That's just my biggest bit of advice with, I think, anything, to be honest, content-wise, is you've got to be believe in what it is, and get some people around you that will say, hey, that's not very good, or hey, that's great, and believe in what it is that they're saying.
I feel like rappers can come from anywhere now. You know, you got people like, I mean, Monroe's a great example up in Telford there. You know, he knows where he's from, and he talks about it an awful lot.
I forgot to say I really rate Monroe. Yeah, he's one of the people from around here that I'm like, no, that guy is really good.
He's very talented, you know, council estate kid through and through, knows what he wants to do, knows what he is. And that is, you walk in with that kind of confidence anywhere. Yeah. You know, you always say walk into a room like you belong, and you belong. Yeah. Yeah, and that's what he does. And then you got people like MC Hammersmith, who's the rapping Harry Potter guy, looks posh accent, glasses, but he's phenomenal. His freestyle stuff is great. You got Lil Dicky, who's like the tall Jufro, nerd, and then you got your traditional rappers. Like, people can come from anywhere and make something of themselves.
I feel like that's changed quite recently, though. You know, I don't feel like that's always been something that's been able to do.
No,
I don't know. Like,
I think it's definitely new.
Yeah, and I think that I think the Manchester guys. Like, you had London, and then you had a little bit going on in Birmingham, but the Manchester guys have blown up. Like, your likes of Bugsy Malone and people like that they've actually, for me, they've made it, okay, well, you can have an accent and rap from anywhere. Yeah, Scousers rapping now. To me, it's
Goldie Looking Shane, the Welsh guys.
Exactly, exactly.
Guns don't kill people.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, so you can be from anywhere. Like, and actually, your uniqueness is your selling point.
Yes. Who's that guy that's what's his name? I just saw him on Facebook. I've only seen 2 of his videos. And he's like, he's a British guy, and one of his videos, he's smoking a cigarette walking down the street, almost Verve style.
I don't know that guy's name.
Oh, he's phenomenal, though. He did a song about domestic abuse, and it nearly made me cry because it is so phenomenal. Like,
I don't know what that guy's name is, but I know the person that you're talking about.
I will put it in the outro. I'll find out, and I'll put it in the outro.
Right, just a quick butt in here. I can't do this podcast without mentioning this rapper's name because I think he's incredibly talented. His name is Ren, R-E-N. And if you go to YouTube and type in Ren Bittersweet Symphony and give this song a bit of time, just give it some time, listen to it, and then allow yourself to go down the Ren rabbit hole, you'll see that this guy is just incredible. He's not local, but that's the guy I'm talking about here with ease.
There's some great musicians coming from the UK right now, and I feel like that's always been like our thing, isn't it? In the UK, we can always pump out solid music. Doesn't matter where it comes from.
Agreed. And I think that for rap and hip hop for a long time, it was Americans.
Yeah.
And then you had the likes of Kano, Wiley, and those sorts of people that started to just go, hold on a minute, the UK can do this just as well.
Yeah. I agree. Tiny Temper for me, man. There was a while when Tiny Temper was in my car all the time.
Because he made bangers. Lyrically, he was never that great, but he made bangers. Pass Out is all time, right?
One of the best. When it comes to musicians in general, is there something that you shouldn't do?
I feel like someone that has an overinflated ego is a real problem. Like, I know I've probably contradicted what I said earlier when I, talking about having confidence, but someone that is just, like I said, I always wanted to be easy to work with. And when you see someone that's not easy to work with and that they've got too much of an ego or too arrogant and whatever they're doing doesn't warrant it, I feel like that's a problem. So for me, I would just try and stay somewhat grounded.
There's the lead singer of Puddle of Mud, forgotten his name. I don't know. The thing is, I don't know if it's fair to say about him. I don't know if it's a mental health thing or if he is just that way. But he would shout at people in the crowd. If they would always shout at the crowd if they weren't being loud enough for him, he'd storm off stage. I think he fired every single member of his band in one go. I think you've got to realise that once your money and your influence is gone, are these people going to want to hang around with you and help you afterwards?
Yeah, and I think money is the root of all evil. I know it's such a cliche to say, but it really is. And the second that somebody gets money, it exacerbates the person that they were.
It makes their eyesight blurry.
Yeah.
See, I did that. Nice. That was good. That was great.
You might be a rapper,
I wrote a rap yesterday about my wife, and it was just a joke. I'm not going to rap it, but I'll read it out because it was right. It was just me taking the mick out of my wife. I'm not rapping it, right? But it was just I wrote. I'll tell you the context of it. I'm not going to go cringy. But it felt weird. It didn't feel right. I was about to hit fight or flight. It felt wrong in my mouth when I'd chew. To the toilet to be sick is where I nearly flew. When I remembered a memory so brazen, it wasn't a mushy and M&M, it was a chocolate raisin. All of these reasons I've been living through life with this strife is mostly due to my Colombian wife. So if you're young and new to this relationship crew, just be careful what chocolates you chew. But remember, even though she's a pain in the ass, if you let her go, you'll be missing her fast. But the one thing I will never miss is, quite honestly, who puts chocolate raisins in with the M&Ms? I mean, who does that? I said that to her, and she was like, piss.
Nice.
I do stuff like this all the time. I'll drive her crazy. We just got hit our 10-year anniversary, and she deserves a Nobel straight up, because I'm just a weirdo with it. And in fact, I saw a post earlier going, that wannabe MC that comes up to you rapping at 5 a.m. in the morning, and you're just trying to get through my night, man. Do you get a lot of that? Do you get a lot of when you see you do musicians, people are, I rap too, bro?
A little, probably more so back in the day when I used to go out and someone would be like, definitely in the vaults, in the back of the vaults, and then someone's like, you rap? I'm like, yeah, I rap.
And they're like, go on, spit
so you do a little bit, and they're like, I like it, and then they start rapping, and you're like,
that's nice.
Oh, this is good. What do you do for a living? Because don't give that up.
I love that. I follow you on social media. I know where to go. But tell the people that are listening to this.
Yeah, well, you can see me pretty much on any social media under Easy Artist or Easy Artist UK, and all good streaming sites, and hopefully some bad ones as well. You can find me with Easy the Artist. Position Music LA is a label that I use a lot, and I also use Out of Space Records in Holland. So
Any LPs going to come out? Any vinyl?
Probably
Soul
not.
Searching. Soul Searching.
Probably. I've got a vinyl of Soul Searching.
Yeah? Have you?
I've got one.
Bet
I've
you
got
have.
one at home. But no, probably not. Probably not. I don't know. There's definitely a beauty to it and a crispness and a sound to it that you can't match. But I just don't know how commercially viable it is. And at this point, I'm probably going for commercially viable.
Yeah. I think a whole album that sounds exactly like Soul Searching is what I need.
It's coming.
Yeah?
There's at least 2 EPs that sound like Soul Searching. I have one EP that's done. I have another EP that I'm about to record, and a further EP that may be in the works as well.
Well, Trade did $3,000 in 30 days.
No, it's unreal. Unreal.
I was a bit broke, so I couldn't donate towards it. So now I'm like, I
donated.
did you?
Yeah.
Well done,
30
well done,
quid in the
well
pot
done.
for him.
I did pump it though on the biscuit. I was like, you guys need to help out, so maybe got a few donations for that. But well done, Trademark. That was wonderful work, honestly. And
Yeah.
everyone that donated, you've helped an artist reach his dreams.
I'm looking forward to hearing the album, man. Looking
Yeah.
forward to it.
I'm on Triple J's vinyl album.
You've got it.
I'm on it.
Oh, nice.
He wanted a documentary voice to intro one of the songs.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the words, but I was like, here we found a wild, was it a hater? A hater in the wild. And I did like an Attenborough voice for it, and it opened up one of the tracks.
Oh, nice. He's got that sort of soul sound, right? That soul funk sort of.
And he again, you were talking about people like Meth that can just lean into a song. He can just lean into it.
He's got the voice for it. He's
Yeah.
got the tonality for it. Yeah.
Very nice guy as well. Anyway, we've been chatting for a very long time. I've kept you the sun's come out. It's looking really nice in Shrewsbury now. Beer garden weather, I'm saying.
It does look like beer garden weather, doesn't it?
Brilliant. So what the rest of the weekend plans have you got now? You got to chill and
Oh, my missus tried to say that she wants to go to Waterworld tomorrow. I was like, on a Sunday, bank holiday. I think I'm all right.
not the one in Wrexham.
I don't know.
Don't go to the one in Wrexham. I can't leave that in the podcast. Well, maybe I can. I don't know. I grew up there. I'm allowed to say this sort of stuff. Thank you so much for chatting to me.
Oh, thank you, man.
Thank you to Jimmy and to Dave Gregg who let us use Albert's Shed here in Shrewsbury. If you've not come here to watch live music, then why not? It's one of the best venues here. Maybe one day we'll see Ease up on stage doing his thing once he's refined his live stuff. But for now, thank you so much for chatting.
Thank you, mate.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers.
What an incredible guy Matt is. We had a couple of mishaps during that interview. I had to go and get the Wi-Fi, so I left my mixer on, went downstairs, got the Wi-Fi, came back up, and by the time I came back up and we were about to play the game, my mixer died. Luckily, I had extra batteries, so I had to do that, and then we got it all done. It was great. Okay, I also forgot to do questions for Alex. It's such a natural thing for me to do, to ask people to ask me questions. I'm the interviewer. You know, it's a strange transition for me. But I just messaged Matt now. I sent him this.
Hey man, really sorry about this, but during our interview I forgot to do a question for Alex. It's not natural for me to do it, but I was wondering if you had a question for me. If you send me the audio, I'll throw it into the podcast. I'm editing it all up now, so no pressure or anything, but have you got a question for the biscuit guy?
Yeah, so I literally just sent that to him, and he sent this.
Okay, so what has been the hardest thing about gathering a following and then maintaining consistency creating podcasts?
What's the hardest thing about maintaining the consistency of an audience, whether it be on social media and the podcast, is selling the thing altogether. I'm not a sales guy, and I'm surrounded by people in an industry that are very pushy when it comes to content. You know, if you've done a podcast and you put up podcast groups, you'll totally understand. You know, you can put literally a post up saying, I'm doing this thing on the 21st of July, it's a cricket thing, you know, and you can put it up on the thing, and somebody will just drop a link for their podcast on your post. It's unsolicited, pushy, and I don't like it. I don't want to come across as that. So the stuff I do on social media is as and when I come across things and do things. Sometimes I will plan things when it comes to episode releases. It has to be done. People need to know when the podcast is coming out, how they can listen to it, and who's on it. Very important stuff. But when it comes to content daily, bam, 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 I know that some people are regimented in that. I find that really hard because I like it all to be natural. But to get by on social media, you kind of have to have a plan. And I did draw up a plan about 6 weeks ago. I had a plan on my fridge. I wanted my Instagram to go in like parallel lines of pictures, videos, pictures. So I had like a 1 2 1 1 2 1 1 2 like schedule on my fridge. It lasted about a day. No, it didn't. It lasted about a week, and it started to look like a shape. But it's just not me. I'm not a robot. I want to sit behind a microphone. So that's the hardest thing, is to be the salesman of what it is I'm doing, to be able to pitch it to people without looking needy. So yeah, that's it. I mean, just for me to sit behind a microphone is just so easy. I love it. It's just so natural to me. I'm sat here in my I say my studio, it's my bedroom. I sit in my studio and I'll just record this off the bat, no problems. I can speak to anybody. As long as I'm behind a microphone, I'm fine. But when it comes to social media, it's a really tricky one. So thanks for the question, Matt. I hope that all makes sense to the listeners. Next up, we've got Chris Taylor from SY Gigs. And you're like, oh, no, he's doing music again. But this is music of a different kind. Okay, we've been covering a lot of Loop Fest. I just spoke to a great rapper right now. But like, when it comes to sophistication and the kind of concert where you sit and you enjoy the music, that's what we're looking for in the next one. And it's really, really good. So I would definitely stick around for that next week. Yeah, thank you so much for listening. Guys, I'll leave you with this. It's been fantastic. Thank you to Matt. Thank you to Albert Shed. And you're all wonderful. Hope you enjoy the sun. Okay. I don't know. I hope I haven't just tempted fate there. It's going to be sunny. Okay. Let's just have that positive thinking together. Have a good one, guys. Catch you on the next one. Peace out.